Hi, it's Kim from the Shamrock Quilt Studio, and today I want to give you an update on our EPP project, Springburst. So join us and I'll tell you where I am now in this process. And welcome back to the Shamrock Quilt Studio. I'm sharing with you an update today on our Springburst project. This is an EPP project that we started in the spring, and it's very light, colorful pastel colors, and as you begin to move out from the center, then the colors begin to take on more color and a richer, deeper tone. And I have been able to make a fairly good amount of progress. I think we've been working on this 5 months maybe, but in EPP time, that's not a whole lot. There are a lot of pieces in this, and I think when I get all done with it, I want to take a few moments and see if I can maybe calculate how many pieces really are in this. But it's a round design, which I've never done before, and I think maybe I might square it off to finish this project up. I may leave it round. I haven't really truly decided yet. There are some really big advantages of squaring it up. It makes it easier to hang on a wall, to fold it, just to bind it. Everything would be easier. On the other hand, a circular quilt is really a unique thing, and I'm considering maybe making this a very unique thing. It would be really hard to hang. I'll be honest with you there, and we may have to think out of the box if we decide to do that and put some type of either hanging system on it or even go with something where we pin it or tack it to a foam core board to get all of that shape to hang straight. But we'll decide that later. We're here for an update today. And let me tell you that I have, oh goodness, I would say half of the circle done all the way out to this point. And you can see on this point, we've gotten to where we're adding in more of the floral pattern fabric. We're adding in more of this medium tone green. We have one, and here we have two. And you can see how that really begins to show up and add more of that color in. And I think from a distance, let's see, if I pull this up, you can really see that circular shape and see those darker colors come out. This would be a really cute medallion for the center of a quilt. At some point you could decide maybe to applique it onto a larger piece of fabric, to like we would if we square this up, or if you wanted to put it on the center of a bed quilt, that would work as well. So about half of it we've got out to this point, and that measures, let's get the bigger one because I think we're going to need the bigger one. From the center point to the end of the point here, that is measuring but at about 23 and a half inches, right up that, that's not quite the seam, but yeah, about that big. So it's going to be about 48 inches in diameter when we get all of this done. Now, what haven't we got done? The other half of it. And let me show you where we are with that. And we're going to be about from here to here. It's finished. And then this side of it is not quite finished. We've got this mostly done. We need some more white pieces in here. This one needs some work, this one needs some work, and this one needs some work. And I'm to the point now where I need to make more white pieces, and I think that I may have enough green. I might need 1 or 2 more pieces, but we're really close on that. Next, decisions on this. Once I get this done, where am I going from there? Well, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm not quite sure where we're taking this and what type of shape we're going to end with, and then where our design is going from this point on. Are we going to try to put in another row with some deeper fabrics? We have one fabric we haven't used at all. That's this really dark green with the almost black design on it. So we still have the option of putting more colors in there. I think if I did decide to add this color in with like another single or double row in, that I probably would come back and put some more of the pink and some more of the lighter greens in there and mix them all together so that it's not just a really dark circle of shapes, that it's more of a mixture of playfulness in those colors. So that's an option. I need to think about that a little bit. Right now, we're in production mode with this because it takes time to make the pieces. It takes time to sew the pieces in. This is one of the most difficult shapes that I've worked with to sew things in. And what I intend to do is to draw out this pattern so that if you are interested in creating something, maybe not in these fabrics or these colors, but you want to kind of use that playful design of mixing in the lights and the darks and getting darker, that you will be able to see how you can do it by sewing strips together and then sewing the strips together with each other to make the shape versus how I'm doing it, where usually I'm sewing on one diamond at a time. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 if I can kind of figure out how to match where we've already done to what we need to do. I can sometimes get several pieces together and it's much easier that way. Sewing them on one at a time is probably the most time-consuming way that you can do it. And I try to avoid that, but sometimes when you're creating a new design or you're limited in the pieces that you have available that evening, that's what you end up doing. I am really happy with this, and I am considering purchasing more of the floral fabric for either a backing or maybe even a background if we decide to square this up and applicate it onto a background. I'm wondering whether that floral would be a good choice for that or not. And I know that they still had this in stock when I was in the store last week. So I think I'm going to go back, and when it goes back on sale again, I may buy what they have just so that I have that as an option. But that's where we are with this project. And I wanted to say that I've taken out all of the paper pieces from about here up and been able to reuse those to make more. This package of paper pieces that I bought had 450 in it. And I think at this point, every one I have, or almost every one I have, I think I have a few in here that aren't don't have paper on them, but every one I have is either in this project or in like the 24 pieces that are here. So it's a lot of pieces. It's probably going to be 500, 600 pieces at least before we're done, maybe even more. But it would be interesting to know how many pieces, don't you think? Just so that you have that sense of accomplishment. Sometimes that sense of accomplishment, there's a fine line between that and discouraging information. But I think in this case, it's a simple thing. You just sew it and you keep sewing it. So it's perseverance more than anything. That's where we are with this project. Now, I do intend to keep working on this a little bit. I think I'm going to slow my pace down just a little bit, because I do have our Blue Star project on my quilt frame, and I want to try to get the basics of that quilted before Thanksgiving. So I've got time of filming now. I've got 3, 6, I've got about 6, 7 weeks before Thanksgiving. So I think maybe I can do it if I focus on that and not this. And I'm not talking about final done with the quilting, but I'm talking about being able to get the quilt quilted together enough that it can come off the frame and then be finished in a hoop. And I've done that before, and it's a very relaxing way to do it, because once it's basically quilted in those fundamental shapes so that it holds together, it's really easy to swap that hoop out from one place to the other because it's already hooked together. It's like it's basted, but basted in that permanent type of quilting situation. So that's where we are with this. I hope that if you're working on an EPP project, you are sticking with it and keeping going. It can be discouraging because it's a slow process, but you just keep moving one piece at a time or a couple of pieces each week, and eventually you'll get there. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you have any questions about EPP or some of the other projects that we've worked on here on the channel, check out our playlist. We do have one project in addition to this one out there that you can take a look at and see if that might be more to your liking. And I am considering a couple of other EPP projects for 2025. I'm thinking about doing a little kind of mini-size Lucy Boston. So I'm looking for fabrics that I think would work really well with that. So stay tuned and we'll see where that goes. Thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe, share us with a friend, and we'll see you next time at the Shamrock Quilt Studio. Bye!